When we try to measure the power of a country, we usually look at its physical footprint. We count its skyscrapers, weigh the wealth of its biggest corporations, or look at the size of its military. But absolute power does not always mean advanced. A truly advanced nation feels different. It is highly connected and operates efficiently, and its economy is actively driven by the research inside its labs and data centers. This diagram maps the 2026 global ranking criteria: internet access, 4G use, digital competitiveness, and R&D spending. The top-scoring countries rarely look alike. Some are massive tech hubs, others specialized tiny nations, but they share one habit: treating technological progress like a routine. Let's look closely at what puts the top 12 nations in the world on this list. At number 1 is South Korea. This is a country with nearly universal internet access, where immense investment in R&D is woven completely into the daily culture. It hosts domestic giants like SK Hynix and Samsung, which engineer the foundational memory chips required to run the modern AI industry. South Korea was also the first country to launch a commercial 5G network. Making that push early matters because it establishes the baseline infrastructure for everything else. At number 2 is the United States. While not top in per capita metrics, its absolute power remains unmatched, leading the world in total research spending. The U.S. ecosystem relies on sheer scale. Between massive clusters in Seattle, Boston, and Silicon Valley, it provides the venture capital and university networks that sustain legacy giants like Apple, alongside newer forces like OpenAI. The number 3 nation, Taiwan, operates entirely differently. It sits directly at the center of global semiconductor manufacturing. That position relies heavily on TSMC. If you are using a modern smartphone, a laptop, or an AI data center, the processor inside it almost certainly depends on this specific company's advanced chip ecosystem. By cultivating an entire industrial network around precision engineering and manufacturing talent, Taiwan has made itself an absolutely critical geographic location. At number 4, Denmark shows us that a country does not need immense scale to be highly advanced. Sometimes it relies on being clean and highly organized. The Danish economy focuses on practical, systemic solutions. It leads globally in green wind technology and hosts Novo Nordisk, which has grown into one of the most vital pharmaceutical companies on Earth. Number 5 is Switzerland. It maintains a well-earned reputation for extreme precision engineering, paired with one of the most robust scientific ecosystems in Europe. It is home to top-tier universities like ETH Zurich and EPFL, as well as CERN, maintaining a density of scientific instruments and research output that punches far above the country's actual size. Looking at this comparative chart, you can clearly see the data behind number 6, Israel. Its share of overall R&D spending heavily outpaces global averages, reflecting an extremely high research intensity. As the data highlights here, much of that intense spending is channeled directly into rapid startup generation and advanced cybersecurity, tightly connecting military and civilian innovation. These nations prove that you do not need vast landmass or endless population pools to compete. You just need to efficiently turn highly technical knowledge into products the rest of the world relies on. Number 7, Finland, provides a clear case study in evolution. A few decades ago, the country's tech identity was almost entirely tied to Nokia. Nokia remains a major telecom player, but Finland has since broadened its base. Today, consistent long-term investments in education have built highly competitive sectors in digital gaming, marine engineering, and industrial elevators. At number 8 is the Netherlands, a country that functions as a hidden engine for almost the entire modern technological landscape. That status comes almost entirely from ASML. It is the only company in the world capable of manufacturing the extreme ultraviolet lithography machines required to print advanced semiconductor chips. Surrounding this singular engineering strength is an incredibly robust digital and financial infrastructure centered in Amsterdam, providing the exact environment needed to support a company of that scale. By securing an absolute monopoly on just one incredibly difficult, highly specialized step in the supply chain, the Netherlands has made itself indispensable. In some nations, technological advancement is so deeply integrated that the population barely notices it. At number 9, Sweden operates as one of the most fully cashless societies on the planet. It is a society where even traditional industrial companies like Volvo rapidly adapt to new, highly automated systems, generating modern innovation from a legacy base. Next door, number 10, Norway, shows that advancement isn't strictly about software or silicon. It also requires long-term sustainability and energy planning. Norway generates almost all of its electricity from hydropower, and it pairs that clean energy grid with the highest rate of electric vehicle adoption in the developed world. At number 11 is Singapore. As a very small nation with limited physical space, it has to operate with the absolute discipline of an optimized machine. The government plans technology policy precisely at the national level, building highly dedicated innovation districts to act as hubs for logistics, biotech, and finance. What connects these three specific countries is how they deploy their national wealth. Through strict policy discipline, they build thoroughly optimized societal systems designed to last. Finally, at number 12 is the United Kingdom. Despite an intensely competitive global landscape, it remains a central force in advanced research, software engineering, and artificial intelligence. The output of its London and Cambridge tech clusters proves its capability. The rapid development of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine demonstrated exactly how its research base translates directly into real-world medical impact. Looking across these 12 nations, we see that advancement takes widely different forms. It is perfectly connected daily life in Seoul, green energy in Denmark, precision science in Switzerland, and AI leadership in the United States. These countries are not at the top simply because they have large economies. They are organized. They systematically invest in education and research, and they build institutions that compound their knowledge over decades. Ultimately, that is the actual definition of a highly advanced nation. It is the ability to continuously pull raw ideas out of the laboratory and build them into the everyday reality of the future.